Many thanks to Clash Vanilla servers, Husk RP, Fatal Attraction Squad, CF Tools Cloud, Sovereign RP server, the Stronger community, the Karma Crew servers, Friendly DayZ podcast, DayZ servers, and DayZ servers hosts for making this video possible. The first Road to Badlands stable update has just been released on all platforms, so I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what you need to know going into this patch and touch on the massive loot changes that you are definitely not ready for. Because I've covered this before, here's all the new stuff inside one single image, but I do have some additional information about this new gear, such as a T65. It comes in olive or tan, and it is one of the best helmets in the game, ranking statistically better than the tactical helmet when it comes to melee damage, but against bullets, it's pretty much the same as the other god tier helmets in the game. The big downside with this helmet though is that it spawns at helis and convoys only, whereas the other ones spawn in military areas, and they're a lot easier to find compared to this one. The new holo sight should be a lot easier to find, coming in black and tan, spawning in military tier 2 or higher, and it comes with one additional dot compared to what we were expecting, and because bullet speeds in DayZ vary wildly, this lower dot here is not very useful, but for my tests it's around 500 meters with the most powerful weapons it attaches to, all seen here. One such weapon is the new SCR 17, which is basically the LAR on steroids in terms of its stats. It's a lot easier to find too, spawning at convoys and heli crashes, but it's much easier to find at supply crates on Chernarus. I assumed that they were going to remove it from spawning here, but it is now confirmed that this is supposed to spawn at these supply crates, so be very careful around Northwest Airfield. There will be campers all over this. For this reason, it might be easier to find on Sakhal, spawning at dynamic containers only, with more details being found in this SCR guide here that I made recently. One important takeaway from that video is that SCR magazines can be found in CUU gear and the new variant of the combat backpack, as well as the inventory of the female soldier infected. This new infected has 115 health like other soldier infected, has a good chance to spawn with a plate carrier attached to her, and also drops the Morse code leaflet. This one here, it comes in 3 different flavors, coffee stain, blood stain or roasted, but is only supposed to serve as a teaser for Badlands, so it has no use at the moment. A lot has changed with loot, and you will notice a big difference when you're playing, but basically weapons are harder to get because they spawn in higher tiers, and attachments have a much lower chance to spawn on weapons like buttstocks, handguards, optics, and even magazines. Finding a magazine inside of a weapon is going to be a rare occurrence. These changes make it extremely difficult to get a weapon with ammo on the coast, or tier 1 basically, so if you want any chance of getting a pew pew, you will have to go to tier 2. On the plus side, the plate carrier vest is a lot easier to find on Chernarus. It actually spawns at helis and convoys, and can be found on the infected more frequently because of the new female soldier infected, spawning half the time as a heavy soldier. However, plate carriers on Livonia are going to be a lot harder to find, now only having a 30% chance to spawn on heavy infected types, down from a 100% chance to spawn, so that means a lot less. There is a positive to Livonia though, because the AUG AX will now spawn at level 2 of the bunker, taking 2 spawn points away from the AK-101, which would pretty much spawn every single time in the prison room here. So if you want an AUG AX, go to this prison room level 2, and the only reason you really want to go to level 3 now is because of the NVGs. As for Sakhal, it's mostly unaffected, but I will make an in-depth video going over every single change that they've made to loot this patch, which will come soon. 5 vehicles have been updated from the Convoy dynamic event, applying to both Chernarus and Livonia. Apart from their updated models that you can see here, they're pretty much the same and have literally replaced them down to the exact coordinates that they're being placed in the map when they spawn as convoys. So the number of vehicles at convoys has not changed, and nor has where they're located either, but what has changed is how much loot a convoy can spawn. So all the outdated looking models have been nerfed to spawn less in this patch, making the newer models better by default, as they spawn just as much loot as the old versions did last patch. I know that sounds confusing, but basically the newer models are about twice as good as the old models now. So if you have limited time at a convoy, head for the newer models first. These newer models will be gone when Badlands is released, which means that Chernarus and Livonia will get another convoy nerf if these numbers stay the same, which will very likely get reverted back to their original lesser models. And based on how much better the SCR is compared to the LAR, I'm willing to bet that the SCR will become Badlands exclusive too. Animals cannot be heard at a distance still, the Derringer continues to have a bugged reload, and the flare gun or signal pistol cannot be found on any map along with its flare cartridges, but they did make some progress on this because they no longer get stuck in trees. They also fixed the stamina bug, so you will now have the correct amount of stamina based on the weight you're actually carrying, and the wolf headdress being damaged will no longer crash you or everybody around you. There have been a lot of other crash fixes too, mostly on console, and the invisible rectangle that partially prevents you from wall stacking is now confirmed to be an actual bug fix. So without this restriction, players would get pushed under the map. The only other worthy mentions are the slight buff to the motorbike helmet and the assault helmet. They now resist water slightly better. The main menu music has been changed to a Badlands inspired one. And finally, there is a new place to report your bugs, link below. If you weren't aware, this update comes with no wipe to characters or maps, so enjoy your much easier gear of last patch, as this update will certainly mean replacing that gear is going to be harder. If you wish to learn more about Badlands, I got to playtest it a few weeks ago, and this is all the stuff we discovered. You can see it inside this video here. Let me know your take on this update. Thank you very much for watching, and have yourself a good patch.